Hello, algebra students. Now that you've taken your regular test on systems of equations, we're going to start putting some extra stuff in there, things like story problems. However, I know that some of you see story problems, think about story problems, and you get all nervous. These are going to be really reasonable problems to do with systems of equations. So when I give you a question like this, I said, find the value of two numbers if their sum is 9 and their difference is 1. Typically, when we start story problems, we want to know what variables you're using for which things. When I'm talking about just two numbers, there's nothing really specific about this. I could just say that x is going to be my first number and y is going to be my second number. Just so we know, those are the variables I'm going to use, x's and y's. Now, it says the sum of those two numbers is 9. That means that x plus y, sum means addition, is 9. Their difference means subtract. The difference of x and y is 1. That just means x minus y equals 1. Now, I hope that you can see why this kind of problem is one of my favorite kind of story problems to do with systems. Because right now, I've got very simple, short, little equations. And my y's are already opposites. I've got a plus y and I've got a minus y, or a positive 1y and a negative 1y. When I add these two together, the y's are going to go away. Now, I'm going to make a mistake right here because it's a very typical mistake that I see. I see some people say, well, x plus x is x. Except it's not. Remember, this is really a 1x, and a 1x gives me a 2x. And then 9 plus 1 is 10. So we can solve this to figure out that x is 5. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Now that I know that x is 5, I can go back into either equation. I don't care which one. Personally, I kind of like the one with the addition, because if I'm looking for the y, at least the y looks positive there. So the x was 5. I'm going to say 5 plus whatever y was gives me 9. So y equals 4. If 4 and 5 are my numbers, the sum of them, 4 plus 5 is 9. The difference, 5 minus 4, is 1. Now, these are not going to be ordered pair answers. I'm just going to ask, what are the two numbers? The numbers are 5 and 4. Okay, this one's just the same. It's worded a little differently. Same question, though. The sum of two numbers is 12. Their difference is 4. What are the numbers? Again, I would start by saying x is my first number and y is my second number. See if you can write the two equations. Pause the video for a second, write your two equations, see if you can get these correct. So the sum of two numbers would be x plus y equals 12. Difference means x minus y equals 4. Okay, if your equations were right, go ahead and finish this problem up. The y's are opposites, again, just like they always will be on these kind of problems. Gone. 1x plus 1x gives me 2x. Sorry for the bell. X is 8. By the way, I entirely understand that some of you could probably look at this problem, crunch some numbers in your head, and you know the answer, and that's great. And I'm glad that you're aware of how those numbers work together, but I still want to see the work on this. I want this to be an easy kind of a story problem, but it's still a story problem that I want you to be able to solve. Now that I know that the x is 8, again, I'm saying, I know if you look at that top equation, you say, what number plus 8 is going to give me 12? You know the answer. But I'm going to show you substitution. Instead of the x, I'm going to put the 8 in there. So then the y is 4. And again, not an ordered pair. The numbers are 8 and 4. Some of the story problems today are going to be very wordy compared to those first ones that I really like. Okay? In this one, they're giving you a whole bunch of information. There's still just the numbers that you need for your equations, though. They're not even throwing like extra numbers in there. Selling cheesecakes for school fundraiser. They can buy New York style cheesecake or apple cheesecake. Amanda had 4 New York and 6 apple. Now, when I do this, I know that I should technically be writing out, N equals New York style and A equals apple. When I do this, I usually just kind of circle the letter in here to identify my variable. So if I say 4 New York style and 6 apple cheesecakes cost $102. Then we've got 6 New York style and 6 apple. Okay, so we're selling more cheesecakes. It's going to be a bigger cost. It's $120. Now, the nice thing about this problem, and I started with this one for these longer, wordy kind of problems, look at your A's. They're both exactly the same. So if I would multiply one of those equations by a -1, doing that distribution, I would get, I'm just going to write it underneath this other one, -4n plus -6a equals -102. Now my A's are going to go away. That's what we wanted. They were opposites. 6n minus 4n is 2n, or plus a -4n, I should say. 120 plus a -102 is going to be 18. This tells me that the New York style is 9. I know that all I have right now is just n equals 9, but that's really that the New York style cheesecakes were $9 each. To find the cost of the apple, I guess I would go with my original first equation right here. 4 of those New York style plus 6 of the apple is 102. So we want to get rid of the 36. And I want to make sure I don't make a mistake on that subtraction. 102 minus 36 is going to give me 66. And then we'll divide by 6. So then the A is going to be 11. That really means the apple cheesecakes cost $11. So when we're answering this question, find the cost of each kind of cheesecake, I would say that the New York style, if I can write, is $9. Don't forget about the dollar sign, and don't forget the dollar signs go in front. And apple cheesecake is going to be $11. Not quite as wordy on this one. We're selling tickets for a dance competition. On the first day, they had 10 adult tickets and 2 student tickets for $76. And they had $101 on the second day, 14 adult and 1 student. So let's write those equations. Let's first define our variables, right? So we want to use, I think, an A for adult. I know that a lot of people don't like to use an S for student. If you don't like that, you can absolutely pick a different letter, whatever letter you pick. I'm going to write an S because I can write it very carefully so that I know that it's an S and not a 5. So I would say for the first day, we would have 10 adult tickets plus 2 student tickets, $76. School took in $101 on the second day, 14 adult and 1 student, and that was for $101. Now, looking at these 2 equations, the A's are not great to get as opposites. We'd have to get pretty big there. So I'm going to go with the S's. I want to make those both be 2's. So the first equation, I already have a positive 2s. The second equation, I'm going to multiply by a -2 so that I can get those to be opposites and go away. So let me just rewrite my first equation. 10a plus 2s equals 76. -28a plus a -2s equals -202. So I'm going to get when I combine these, my s's are going to go away. 10a plus a negative 28a is going to be negative 18a. And 76 plus a negative 202 is going to be a negative 126. And then we'll divide. Now, we need to make sure this is going to be a positive answer, right? We're talking about the cost of a ticket. We can't get a negative answer. So if you tend to make mistakes with negatives, make sure that you're very aware of that and this problem, or problems like this. When I do that division, I get that A equals 7, which means an adult ticket was $7. Now, to find the student tickets, I don't care which equation you use. I like the second equation in that it's a 1s. However, I personally don't really want to do 14 times 7 in my problem because I can do the work in this one kind of in my head. If A is 7, I'll have 10 times 7 plus 2s equals 76. So this is 70. I hope that everyone's okay with me just kind of solving this part of the equation without talking through every single step, because by now we should be feeling pretty comfortable with that. That means that the student tickets are $3 each, right? So when I answer this question, how much are the adult tickets and how much are the student tickets? So an adult ticket was $7 and a student ticket was $3. Go back to a nice sum and difference. If I were you, pause the video right now. See if you can do this entire problem on your own. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to necessarily talk through it, but you can certainly jump ahead to the answer once you have yours all done. So as I'm solving this, I got that the x was 9 for my first number. Then seven is my second number. And if I check that, 7 plus 9 is 16, and 9 minus 7 is 2. So 9 and 7 are my numbers. Again, not an ordered pair. Last problem. We are planting rose bushes and geraniums. So picking variables here, we're going to pick, first I'm going to throw my marker. We're going to pick R for rose bushes and G for geraniums. So we've got these two people, both bought plants at the exact same store, so they've got exactly the same price. Arjun spent $84 on nine rose bushes and 6 geraniums, and that was $84. Dan spent $56, 10 rose bushes and 2 geraniums, and that was $56. I need one of my variables to be opposites. I would pick the G for geraniums. I'm going to multiply this second equation by -3. So my first equation is going to stay exactly the same. Second equation would be -30R minus 6G equals 3 times 56. This is going to be a -168. When I add these two equations together, again, my G's will go away. That's what we were hoping for. 9 plus a -30 is going to be a -21R. So 84 and -168 would be a -84. And when we divide, again, can't be a negative answer. Make sure you're getting an answer that makes sense. This is going to be 4. Right? So the rose bushes cost $4 each. I'm going to have to move this back up well, I guess I don't really have to because I've got my equations. If I would use that second equation right here, $10 for each rose bush, which was $4, or 10 rose bushes, $4 each, plus 2 geraniums gives me $56. Well, this is 40. And then we'll get rid of the 40. So a geranium is going to be $8. So the rose bushes were $4 each, and geraniums were going to be $8 each. I hope that those made sense. We are not afraid of story problems. You guys are brave and smart, and you can handle this. Today's worksheet is story problems with systems. They are exactly these same kind of problems. Define your variables, write your 2 equations, solve them, and give me an answer. These are not ordered pairs. The answer key is going to be in Schoology, and take the formative when you're done. Let me know if you need any help.